This video reveals the identities of the wives of 2 members of the Red Hair Pirates. Welcome back to One Piece Nerd Channel. Shanks has just left Elbaf. The giant pirate crew has set sail for Egghead Island to escort the Straw Hat crew back to Elbaf. It's a remarkable story considering Shanks' close relationship with the giants. There's a piece of information you need to examine carefully. The 2 captains, Dorry and Brogy, have been fighting each other for 100 years at Little Garden. Yet somehow Shanks became close to them when they returned to Elbaf, despite their 100-year-long battle, when Shanks was only 39 years old. When the fight broke out, Shanks wasn't even born yet. Consider that the Straw Hats befriended Dorry and Brogy because they helped them from the Baroque Works members of Crocodile who were playing dirty. Thanks to that, the 2 giant leaders were able to have a real warriors battle, and so they got to know each other. So what about Shanks? How did he get to know Dorry and Brogy to call their names and support him in the attack to take down the Kid Pirates? So at some point, Shanks went to Little Garden to meet the 2 giants. Therefore, they recognized who Shanks was and became friends with him. When they met again at Elbaf, they were willing to help him like that. Shanks is a man who loves to drink. He is willing to use the best wine to invite his friends. Obviously, the stronger the alcohol, the more stimulating it is, the better the wine. Absinthe is a wine that you need to pay attention to. The giants use this wine to treat the Straw Hats, and they also seem unable to be alert to its extremely strong effects. It only takes a short time for the giant pirate crew to sail from Elbaf to Egghead. But 2 days have passed since leaving Egghead and they still haven't reached Elbaf Island. Clearly a plot has been hatched with the absinthe wine, which can cause hallucinations and, more precisely, make everyone let their guard down in a plot against the Straw Hats. Furthermore, at the moment Shanks read the news of Luffy's new bounty of 500 million berries, he appeared at a wedding with other members of the Red Hair Pirates, but one character who did not appear was Lucky Roux. So what happened then? Does the Straw Hats being split into 2 groups have anything to do with Shanks? Let's continue analyzing right now, guys. Don't forget to make a cup of coffee and sit down here, sip it, and discuss together. Alcohol is a common beverage used in One Piece. When meeting your friends in that meeting, there must be alcohol. Typically, when Luffy, Ace, and Sabo were young, they were not allowed to drink alcohol because of their age. But Ace stole Doden's alcohol so that the group could clink glasses of alcohol and swear brotherhood. The Whitebeard and Roger pirates fought each other. They also drank alcohol like close brothers. Even when Roger met Whitebeard for the last time, they chatted over a drink. Shanks, in particular, uses the strongest alcohol to treat important people. A typical example is when Ace talked about Luffy, or when he visited Whitebeard on the Moby Dick to persuade him to stop Ace from chasing Blackbeard. He said that the bottle he brought was the best wine from his hometown, the West Blue. In Elbaf, they also toasted each other when they met. Shanks also seemed to have given the giants alcohol as a very precious gift, a delicious wine to celebrate their reunion. What kind of wine is considered good wine? Wine is considered good when it has a high alcohol content. It will be 35 to 40 degrees, the aftertaste of strong alcohol, but does not cause headaches. The feeling when drinking alcohol, the body will be elated. Of course, in One Piece, the criterion of deliciousness must also be combined with strength. Author Oda used a type of wine called absinthe, green fairy, to show its deliciousness to the point that it even causes hallucinations if used too much. That's the warning. Drink enough to taste good, and the Straw Hats and the Giants ignored this warning. They drank to the point of unconsciousness for 2 days and nights. Try to think if people who don't understand the special effects of this wine, would they be so happy that they use it to the point of unconsciousness? To the extent that no one knows why the Thousand Sunny disappeared. It shows that this wine was not made by them, but given to them by someone. Even they themselves only experienced it briefly, but did not really get into trouble and faint like they just did. Maybe this is the first time because they have never tried this special wine before. The suspect who gave them the wine is Shanks Redhair when he was in Elbaf before leaving. If the Elbaf people gave Shanks a lot of food supplies, Shanks couldn't leave without giving them anything. At least he had to give them a precious gift, which reciprocated the enthusiasm of the giants. Wine was the best value at this time because the Red Hair Pirates had nothing else. From here, we also speculate that Shanks was the one who gave the absinthe wine to the giant pirates, and then they took it out to share the joy with the Straw Hat Pirates after escaping from Egghead. Leading to the incident that the Thousand Sunny disappeared, the Straw Hats were divided into 2 groups. And now I think you need to go back to a few cover pages related to the Red Hair Pirates to see that they have a connection somewhere with the giants. Specifically, the cover pages of chapters 837 and 838 show the reactions of the members of the Red Hair Pirates to the new 500 million bounty from Luffy. And what we are interested in is the members of the crew. The cover of chapter 837 shows some members such as Yasopp, Lucky Roux, Benn Beckman, Monster, Building Snake, and chapter 838 is Shanks, Benn Beckman, and Rockstar. So where's Lucky Roux? If you notice again in the appearances of the Red Hair Pirates, Lucky Roux, Yasopp, and Benn Beckman are the main members who appear with Shanks in most contexts. But this time the fat guy was sidelined and there was no sign of his reaction to Luffy's new bounty. More importantly, the red hair pirates are at a wedding on some summer island with cacti in the background and along with a church and a flock of white doves. This is exactly an island set in the Wild West. The place where cowboys appear mainly in America is very famous, the name Lucky Roux, and the unimaginable connection to this land. Lucky Roux was inspired by a Wild West guy who appeared in the cowboy comic books called Lucky Luke, produced in 1946. Lucky Luke is known as a shooter who shoots faster than his shadow. If you were born in the 90s and early 2000s, you would know how famous the Lucky Luke cartoon was on TV at that time, a journey to protect the people living in the Wild West of Lucky Luke through gunfights. Obviously, Lucky Roux is also a shooter, but he's not so good that he shoots faster than his own shadow. The best shooter to mention is Yasopp. He also competed with a bounty hunter named Daddy Masterson. Their shootout also took place in the tradition of American cowboys. The victory, of course, belongs to the red hair pirate's sniper. Based on an island with cacti, the setting of the American West, author Oda let Lucky Roux be the main character in the appearance of the red hair pirates. But Lucky Roux didn't appear in these two cover pages, so what is he really doing? Exactly being the groom. The wedding the red hair pirates attended was the wedding of Lucky Roux and another very special bride, a giant bride. In chapter 837, Yasopp is raising his head to look and smile at someone quite large. Bonk Punch also greeted him in a rather high position even though they were close to each other. Chapter 838, Shanks also held the newspaper up high for someone to see clearly, and he also smiled at the person up there. Especially the bottom-up shot on this cover shows something taller leaning over the top. From these data, it is implied that the red hair pirates are present at the wedding of Lucky Roux and a giant bride. Don't laugh when you think of the size difference. Didn't Prince Loki of Elbaf also want to marry an ordinary person like Lola? Or can races intermarry to create hybrids? For example, between humans and mermaids create mermaids, long-armed people marry long-legged people to create long-limbed people. The symbol of the dove at the wedding is a symbol of peace, regardless of race or any difference in the world of One Piece. So it's no surprise that Lucky Roux married a giant. During the wedding, the red hair pirates had a lavish party, and then Lucky Roux also continued the journey with the red hair pirates without staying with the new bride, like Yasopp left his wife and children to fulfill their mission. Desire. Weddings are also just a concept of happiness in One Piece, not binding. While the pirates still have to carry out their own missions, and maybe after that wedding, Lucky Roux's wife also returned to Elbaf to live, so the red hair pirates recently came to Elbaf to see her again. So you can't forget the line of the giant woman at the bar in Elbaf. She said, "Why don't you give up? You make my captain self-deprecating." Obviously, if she considered Shanks to be the captain of everyone here, she should have said our captain. Instead, use a personal address between her and Shanks, meaning that Shanks is the captain of the giant woman at the bar and proving that she is also a member of the gang. This way of addressing also shows that she has a husband who is a member of the Red Hair Pirates, exactly Lucky Roux as I have analyzed. I want you to link to Makino sometime after the Red Hair Pirates were in the East Blue. We also saw that Makino had a child even though we didn't know exactly whose son it was, but author Oda confirmed it is the son of Makino and a man, vague in mentioning his identity. It is possible that Makino is also the wife of someone in the Red Hair Pirates. As for who it is, it's hard to know. I just thought of Benn Beckman or Shanks. These village bar women have a pretty close relationship with the Red Hair Pirates, like the main supplier of alcohol to him. So it's no surprise that Shanks giving alcohol to the giants leads to the Straw Hat Pirates being split into two groups. If this is true, it is not known whether Shanks unintentionally or intentionally created these events for the Straw Hat Pirates. The forces in Elbaf have not been revealed but will be heavily related to red-haired Shanks, especially his powerful Figureland family, and above is all the data I can analyze. If you guys have any other thoughts, please leave a comment right below this video for me to know.